A few years ago, the trend of that girl became super popular online. I don't know about you, but suddenly all I ever saw was perfectly curated morning routines and daily habits. Emphasis on perfect. It wasn't enough to have a morning routine. It needed to be color coordinated. It needed to have a very specific vibe, and that vibe was pretty much all the same. And if that vibe is yours and that is what truly lights you up, then I love that for you and keep going with it. But I know that there are a lot of people out there who were drawn to the ideals of that girl and maybe even tried to emulate it for a while, but are feeling now like it's not quite right anymore. Maybe it felt like there was just too much emphasis on the superficial, maybe that it was just too cookie cutter, maybe that it wasn't realistic. Perhaps a that girl routine was perfect for you maybe when you were 24 and single and lived alone, but now you've had a baby and life is a lot more complicated, and carving out an hour to do a yoga flow and light a candle and write in your journal and make your matcha latte, it's not happening. So what does that mean? Is it over for you in terms of a productive, aligned, beautiful day? What comes after that girl for those of us who love the ideals of it, but let's face it, have a real life that requires a little more nuance? Well, what about being that woman? It's time to break the mold and embrace a lifestyle that is not just about being trendy, but about being truly empowered. Join me in this video as I unveil my daily habits for productivity and health and happiness, because being that woman is all about crafting a life that authentically reflects who you are and what you stand for. Now, if you're new to me and my channel, then welcome. I'm Dr. Kim Foster and I'm an MD turned coach and wellness expert. Now let's talk about how to be that woman. The first step is to embrace the evolution and adopt a that woman mindset. You probably know that the trend of that girl initially became very popular on Instagram and TikTok and reflected a highly curated, specific aesthetic and a lifestyle centered around self-improvement and fashion and wellness and productivity. And these are all good things. And while I love the idea of being effortlessly chic and confident and achieving a wonderful balance of work and play and self-care, the trouble is that the pressure to be that girl, the one who has it all together, who fits into society's narrow definition of success, can be completely suffocating. We end up feeling bombarded with images and messages telling us how we should look and act and live our lives. That's where being that woman comes in. In my mind, this is about reclaiming your power and embracing your uniqueness and rewriting the rules to fit your life. This is the next evolution of the that girl trend. Maybe that girl worked for you for a little while, but you're ready for the next iteration. The fundamental mindset shift here is about embracing authenticity and self-acceptance. Embracing authenticity means showing up as your true self unapologetically. It's about honoring your values and passions and quirks and refusing to mold yourself into somebody that you're not. One of the biggest obstacles on the path to embracing your individuality is the trap of comparison. It's really easy to get caught up in measuring ourselves against others, but this only leads to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. So letting go of comparing yourself to others is a key step here. Okay, so now that we have got the right mindset down, let's turn our attention to some practical elements. What might go into your day as that woman? We're going to look at 3 elements: productivity routines, health routines, and happiness routines. So step 2 is to create your own productivity routines. I love productivity. I have been a student of productivity since I was a very young adult in high school and university, aiming for medical school. And then especially once I became a mom, productivity took on a whole new meaning because I had to shoehorn everything into some very tight time blocks, and the game just completely changed. So I am all for productivity, but not in the that girl way. A that girl approach to productivity often has a few features: an emphasis on very early mornings, often waking up before sunrise, very specific rituals like drinking lemon water, green juice, and practicing specific skincare routines. There is typically a beautiful planner on display with a lot of time spent creating an aesthetic plan for your day with a bullet journal maybe, color-coordinated pens and things like that. And there are no messy beds to be seen anywhere, and certainly no children around or piles of Lego on the floor. And again, I know I keep saying this, but if the that girl aesthetic is what you absolutely love, then keep going with it. But let's look at what a that woman productivity routine could look like. For me, it starts by absolutely recognizing the value of self-care, but those routines need to be adapted and flexible depending on your situation, depending on your personal schedule and responsibilities like balancing work and family and personal interests. It does not necessarily mean adhering to whatever is trendy. Like, if you don't like to do yoga, you don't have to do yoga. If you hate the taste of matcha lattes, that's okay, you don't have to drink them. There's also a focus on efficiency and effectiveness over aesthetics. Yes, you need some kind of planner, but no, it does not need to be beautiful if that is not important to you. You get to choose the planning system that works for you. I have to say, I do love the idea of romanticizing your life and taking the opportunity to make things beautiful when it works. But if the choice comes down to a non-pretty daily calendar or none at all, go with the non-pretty one. Function over form here when it comes to productivity. You are a woman who has got stuff to do. You do not need to have your productivity tools looking perfect and color coordinated if that is going to get in the way of getting stuff done. That's the opposite of productivity. Another element of that woman productivity routines is to get really badass about your time management techniques. This does not mean running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to do all the things and trying to jam a million tasks into an overloaded schedule. This is so much about getting crystal clear on priorities and focusing on the most effective tasks and the most important tasks, and usually, and this is especially critical for women, setting super clear boundaries and protecting them. Of course, having a morning routine is something that I do believe in, but again, it's important to design your own morning routine, not just copy paste what all the influencers are doing. If you want some help with designing your own routine, then go ahead and download the free guide that I put together called the Ultimate Morning Routine Menu. It's a menu of options that you can mix and match to create your own bespoke morning routine that works for you. The link to download that guide for free is in the description below. In terms of productivity tools, the ones that I use that keep me on track and accomplishing a ton without feeling overwhelmed or stressed are currently Asana for project management and task management, Google Calendar for appointments and events, my journal to keep my head straight and to keep my gaze firmly focused on what's important, and a daily docket that I write out the night before with a list of tasks that I number in order of priority and a schedule for the day. In full transparency, my entire productivity ecosystem actually involves several more pieces than this, but these are my core tools, and I have evolved this stack to work for me personally based on my needs and also the season of my life right now. They may or may not work for you. The key here is to craft the system that works for you. This will definitely involve lots of experimentation and iteration, but that's what that woman does. It's not just copy paste what somebody else does. It's designing your own system. The final productivity habit or routine is to always practice self-compassion and flexibility, and to understand that productivity looks different for everyone. You might dream of having luxurious blocks of time for self-care, but if that is just not the season that you're in right now, you're not wrong. You're not failing. Okay, so let's move on to the next step, step 3, which is to create your health routines. Okay, so this is so key. While that girl health routines often looked very cookie cutter and the same as all the influencers, that woman routine is going to be different. First and foremost, that woman prioritizes holistic health, focusing on overall well-being rather than just physical appearance or a particular number on the scale. So we're not just about losing weight so that we look good in our matching workout set. It's including practices that are going to nourish us from the inside out. I mean, the end effect often does have a significant benefit on your appearance. That's the way it works. But we're working on things with a health mindset rather than an appearance mindset. Also, that woman isn't about what's trendy or short term. Instead, it's about adopting sustainable habits habits that align with your individual preferences and needs. If everyone seems to be jumping on a particular diet bandwagon, but it doesn't work for you, then just go ahead and skip it. You stick with what works for your body and your life. I'm a big proponent of intermittent fasting, but if that completely doesn't work for you, not a problem. Or if everyone in your life is going vegan and you know that is not what you want to do, it's okay. Being that woman means making grown-up choices with your own individual needs in mind. It's also about being open to evolving and iterating your routines. For example, when I realized that I was not prioritizing protein enough, I made some adjustments. When I realized that my exercise routine did not include enough resistance and strength training, I made adjustments. Here are some specific ideas to include in a healthy That Woman routine. Regular exercise. Ladies, this is a non-negotiable. A woman who prioritizes her health and longevity does not give in to excuses about not having enough time or not liking exercise. But exactly what form of movement you do is totally up to you. What time of day you exercise, totally up to you. Find activities you enjoy, whether it's yoga, running, or dancing, or badminton, or horseback riding, or sea kayaking, honestly, whatever it is. Number 2, nutrition. A lot of That Girl routines emphasized meal prepping and beautifully plated meals, specific trendy things like smoothie bowls and grain bowls. I actually love eating both of those things, but a That Woman routine does not need to attend to the aesthetics or eat the same thing that everyone else does. If you love smoothie bowls and love creating them with the organized and symmetrical lines of toppings and things, and it fits into your schedule and it makes you happy, then do it. But if you either don't want to prioritize the time, don't really enjoy eating them, and the aesthetics don't do anything for you, then skip it. Plan and prep your food in a way that works for you. If it's messy, but incredibly nourishing and delicious, that's amazing. Another example, I'm always in awe of those images of prepped salad jars and meals to go all lined up in a fridge, Pinterest style, but that doesn't work for me right now. Instead, what I do is I try to do some food prep on Sunday, just prepping some ingredients to make things easier and more efficient during the week. So I'll cook up some chicken, boil a bunch of hard-boiled eggs, and make a batch of peanut butter protein balls, for example. So I've done a few things, but I'm not holding myself to an impossible standard. For me, that is about being that woman. Okay, number 3 is mental health. That woman definitely prioritizes her mental wellness. She is not creating a bunch of anxiety and stress trying to fit herself into a particular lifestyle, but she is choosing rituals and routines that support her mind and soul and protecting those rituals. And there are so many options to choose from. Your mental wellness routines do not have to look the same as another woman's routines. From breathing exercises and meditation to visualization and journaling to going to therapy to getting regular massages, whatever you need to do to keep yourself feeling balanced and aligned, figure out what those pieces are and then schedule them into your day and your week. If you need some more ideas for this, then see my recent video specifically on stress management strategies. I will link it on the screen here so that you can watch that one next. Personally, some of the things that I do to maintain my mental wellness is getting out and going for walks every day, meditating, journaling, and practicing weekly self-care rituals with skincare and soaks in a hot bathtub. I also fiercely protect my sleep. If I'm having trouble sleeping, then I lean on ASMR videos and sleep stories. The other key part of your mental health routine is to establish and protect your boundaries, not overcommitting, saying no, and having simple, elegant ways of turning down requests for my time and energy. These are all vital tools in my toolkit. Okay, so from there, let's talk about the final step, which is to create happiness routines. Happiness for me isn't just about staying healthy. It's much more than that. It's about cultivating joy in my daily life. And one of the key difference makers for me is a gratitude practice. And if you're a fairly driven, ambitious woman, then I totally see you. And it's really easy to always be focusing on the next milestone, on the next achievement. This is actually something that recently came up inside one of the coaching calls inside my program, the Wellness Coach Academy. It is so easy to be constantly striving for the next thing and to just lose sight of how much you actually already have. And this is why, for me, having a regular gratitude practice is the secret sauce. So taking just a few moments each day to reflect on what I'm thankful for gives me a really nice boost in my happiness meter. I can absolutely feel it. Whether it's big or small, acknowledging the good things in your life can shift your perspective and increase feelings of happiness. So one simple way to do this is to keep a gratitude journal where you write down 3 things that you're grateful for each day. It's a really easy way to remind yourself of the abundance in your life. As Oprah said, be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. Another happiness habit that makes it into my That Woman routine is to make time to pursue passions, things that are purely for fun. It's easy to only do things that are about achievement and moving forward towards specific goals, but then life can become a bit of a slog without any fun. Recently, I've started playing golf, and I'm also trying to brush up my tennis game. I am not going pro with either of these things anytime soon, but they are activities that are just fun for me, and they are things that I can do with my husband and our boys. And the plan is to be able to do those things together as a family for a long time to come. There are hundreds of hobbies that you could incorporate into your That Woman routine to increase your happiness and just improve your sense of joy and fulfillment in your daily life. Something artistic like painting or drawing or writing poetry or gardening or photography or knitting or beekeeping. Honestly, whatever you feel intrigued by or feel passionate about. Without agenda or a plan to turn it into some kind of business, just including hobbies into your week is a wonderful element of a well-rounded That Woman routine. Also, if you're tight on time, then choosing a hobby that has a secondary benefit is a really smart move. For example, an active hobby like tennis will have the dual benefit of doing something fun and also getting more movement into your week. Or maybe an artistic hobby like painting can also serve as a form of meditation and is a stress reliever. Okay, so there you have it. Those are all the steps to designing a That Woman routine for yourself. So I would love to hear from you if this resonated with you. Are you feeling kind of over the That Girl routine and ready to embrace being that woman? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to download my free morning routine menu using the link in the description. And if you like this video, then I think that you are going to love the one that I am going to link on the screen next, where I go into detail about the 5 daily habits that completely transformed my life. I will see you over there. It's including practices. Oh, hey kiddo, I'm just filming. So, any chance you can just go upstairs? I just need 5 more minutes. Okay. Kid coming home from school. Such is life. All right.